Hi, we are back. I am still Jason Goldberg, and look at Ajit got so much better looking and understandable. It's amazing.
Hello, everyone.
No, I'm kidding. This is one of my best friends in the world, truly. Like, I'm not just saying that because it's like an internet thing and everybody says, oh, this is one of my dearest friends in the world. This is literally one of my best friends in the world, Amir Karkouti. So excited to have you here. Coach, entrepreneur, restaurateur. What else? Former breakdancer.
Yep.
You were a badass breakdancer.
I practiced a lot in the mirror
because
I didn't have a lot of friends. Thank you.
and a magician.
Yes.
And for people that don't know, and Ajit, you don't know about this, but we have to tell you about it later. He just did a magic trick on Ceci, and she screamed and almost like punched him in the face. So we'll tell you about it later. It's really good. But anyways, super excited to have you guys still with us. Thank you for sticking around. For people all over the world that I know it's different times and you're eating dinner or you have this playing in the background while you're sleeping, I promise you'll still get something out of it. And we're coming into the final stretch here, the final 2 hours. And I'm super, super excited to have Amir here with me. Amir is just an amazing guy, so funny, and really does coaching in a very interesting way. I love your, and we have conversations all the time. We have just these, we don't mean to have conversations, they're like super deep and then they kind of get like super deep. Yeah. But it's because your perspective on the world is just, it's amazing. I just love the way you see the world. So the title for this segment that you came up with, which I love, was how to drop the mask and be a powerful coach by being you.
Yeah.
Right? And we talk about that a lot. We've talked about that this entire time as far as like things not being, prescriptive, right? We're not saying like this is the way to do things. And so you and I were talking during the break when Ajit was up here answering questions, and we were talking in the back. And it's funny because we're saying like all day today, you've been learning amazing, practical advice and ways of being and all these things. And what Amir and I were talking about backstage was like, that's great that you know all that. And now what Amir is in part here to tell you is that stuff has been in you all along. Yep. Right? So it's great that you have maybe some reminders of all these things, but it's already been there. So I'd love for you to just, in whatever way you want, tell me what you think about like being a powerful coach or being a powerful human and, being courageous and leading from the heart and all these things we talked about, which are amazing. And tell me your view on how that works in somebody's world.
All right, well, before I begin, first of all, thank you everyone for being on this EverCoach event. This is amazing. I live in San Diego. I went home and I was watching all the other coaches. It's awesome. You're doing a really good job.
It's very cool. And Ajit too, and Deb and Ian, the whole crew. Man. Just a quick round of applause for all you guys.
They are really, really awesome. A lot of stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you a little bit of history before I go.
Yeah.
I used to be a NLP practitioner, hypnotherapist. I did a lot of stuff with strategies because that's what I thought would cause us change. Nothing to say bad about NLP or hypnotherapist, but that's how I started. The problem with what I was doing is I always needed a strategy in order to coach people. And so, quick story, I was, a few years back, I was taking a shower, I come out, and my girlfriend at the time, she's my wife now, goes, so you're gonna talk about how to change his perspective on this, this, and this, and then he answered you back. And I'm like, how did you know that? She said, because you spent the last 2 hours in the shower talking to your client. And that's literally how my client sessions were. I was so in my head because I had to get the strategies right that by the time I was in front of my clients, I was exhausted. Like I didn't even want to sit and talk to them anymore. Yeah. So one day I just gave up and said, I don't give a bleep. I'm just going to show up and have a conversation and see what happens. Yeah. Interestingly enough, that was the first time that I saw the biggest shift with my client. That I stopped coming in with this idea of being powerful or showing up powerfully. And I just dropped all that. And it wasn't that wasn't another strategy. Right. It was honestly just giving up on it.
That can become a strategy too, right? I'm going to drop everything. That's my new way of doing it.
Yeah. And so next time it is like, how do I drop it? Let's figure out a way to drop it. Is there, seminars I can go to drop being powerful? So the truth of the matter is what occurred to me is babies. My wife's pregnant and hopefully with my baby. My wife's pregnant and
she's going to come out with a hard parting glasses. You're going to wonder.
As long as it looks like a Jeet, I know it's mine. So here's what happened. Here's what I know. When I see my baby has to do nothing in order to look loving, in order to look beautiful, because that's their nature. And it's something that we already have, and we don't go, babies don't go, how can I come out in the world powerful? How can I come out in the world loving? That's what they are. When they are at their natural state, we are loving, we are connected to everything, because that's how we are. for some reason, as we get older and as we start acquiring knowledge, we think that having a conversation is any more than just that. Because when we get out of our own thinking, the side effect is that we're going to have a connection. The side effect is that leadership shows up. So it's not a thing to do. It's actually the other thing. It's when we're out of our personal thinking, that's what's left.
It's what's left over. So you're basically unlearning all the stuff that you've been learning throughout your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much.
That's incredible. So, okay, so how did that shift happen for you? Like you got it in that session with your client, but then how do you keep doing that without it being a strategy? Like I hate to ask, is there a practice to not practice? Like I don't even know what the question is there, but like how do you embody that more often?
That's kind of like asking, so how do you go and spend time with your friends? Or how do you go and listen to music, right? Now, if I tell you how to do that, or how, if I tell you, go to a comedy store and listen to the comedian, but make sure you have your funny hat on, because you're not, a joke is funny because it's in the moment. A joke makes sense. As soon as we start to figure out the joke, what happens? It's no longer funny.
Right.
And the same thing is in coaching is when you show up with whatever, and that's what's funny, because powerful can be a hug. Powerful can be you being fumbling around and getting freaked out. Actually, if you guys are open to it, I'll tell you a story about how I got a Fortune 500 client for the first time. And
I would love to hear that. Yeah, everybody would love to hear that. I'm sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you right now. So this was recently the woman that I was working with is actually a family friend of mine. First of all, and she's from the same part of the world I am. I'm from Iran, and so typically when there's someone from your hometown and older, you don't coach older. They're wiser than you. You just don't give them advice. They can give you advice. It's just kind of like that.
Yeah.
And so. But she runs a multi-million-dollar company, and she came to me because she knows, she's into Tony Robbins and things, and she wanted to know what I do, and she knew I was a coach. Well, we ended up getting into a conversation about coaching, and I ended up coaching her. It was great. At the end, I wanted to ask her to continue, but I was so scared out of my life. So the first thing I did is I went, okay, so what do I need to do to show up powerfully, to enroll her? What are the right things to do to do an enrollment conversation? As soon as I got on the phone, you know what I said? I said, I'm scared shitless. I have no idea what I'm going to say next. And I am freaking out right now. And that's not how I normally start my coaching, but I'm going to start that with you because that's what's occurring to me right now. And I said, I want to have a working relationship with you. And if you don't want to do it, please let me know. But if you do, I think we can go places with this. I think it'll be incredible. She ended up hiring me, and I asked her why she hired me. And her response is, the way that you showed up, Amir, gave me permission to show up as myself for once. And that was it. That was the day, and I said, that's what coaching is. You're giving them permission to be human. You're giving them permission to get rid of all their old masks as a CEO, a multimillionaire, a Fortune 500 executive, all that stuff, and just show up as them. And it's one of the few times as coaches that clients can not be a father, a mother, a leader, whatever, and just breathe and just show up, because there's a lot of insight in just being human. Because a lot of us haven't actually visited that place for a long time. Yeah. And that's why that's why you're one of my best friends, because as much as we do coaching, when we spend time together, we're just us. Right. And it's memorable and it's exciting, and that's what we remember about each other. Yeah. It's the same thing in a coaching environment, in my experience. Yeah.
I love that, and we've had tons of conversations about this, and I've been there when other beginner level coaches, and I totally get this because we've all been there. We'll say like, Amir, how do I talk to this person that I want to talk to coach, right? And you'll say something like, how would you talk to your mother? How would you talk to your friend? How would you talk to the cashier at Target? Like, they're just humans. Like, why are we making it so difficult? And so what I think I hear you saying is that it doesn't have to be strategy driven. It doesn't have to be a tactic. You don't have to have some way of being that you have to think about. It's really just kind of allowing yourself to be in the moment and recognizing that we're all human. Like, at the core, beneath being a father or a mother or a cashier or a CEO, we're just human, and we all just desire connection.
I couldn't have said it better. It's like we're going to go and shed their stories, the stories that they've made, by me coming in with a story that I made. And that doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have this idea of like being powerful to let them know that it's okay for them to be vulnerable. Or I'm gonna show up this idea of being vulnerable for them to be okay just being themselves. But it shows, and it's kind of phony, you know? And it's like, now that doesn't mean that if you're an introvert or if you are vulnerable, not to do that. Do whatever you are as a coach. I'm not telling you to do it my way, because I have my own way. But man, it's been such a relief to be able to show up as me for once. 10 years of doing this stuff, I did not make any money. I had people canceling on me. Now, I almost sometimes feel guilty because I literally genuinely have conversations and people want to pay me. And it's almost surreal, but I get it now why that is. It's because it's a breath of fresh air to get out of seminar mind and reading mind and strategy mind and deal with someone just heart to heart for once, you know, so.
Well, and a big part of that too, from what I'm seeing and what I could guess is really attractive about you to people for coaching purposes, is that you have done this for yourself. Like, this is not a conceptual exercise. This is not like you read a book on not learning more or not being whatever and now you're just spewing it. Like, this is something that you can show up in as a human being. And so, and I'm guessing, okay, so at the same time, I agree with all this and I love it, but at the same time, I want to just kind of get your take on this. So we unlearn a bunch of crap. Does it mean that all of the systems and models and modalities and stuff are useless in coaching? Or is this like the way you're talking about showing up just gives you the baseline and then you can use whatever modalities you want on top of that?
Great question. The way that I look at it is like the horse and the cart, right?
Yeah.
The cart is where we can put our strategies and we can put our tools, techniques, stuff that we've read in seminars we've gone to. But as long as the horse doesn't move, it's just a cart that's staying still. The wisdom that you have as your humanness is what's going to drive the conversation. It's going to drive the coaching. That doesn't mean the stuff you put in the back is not going to travel with you. But we cannot forget that the first thing that's going to connect the person is our connection, our humanness, right? So the stuff that you learn is useful, but it's not a substitution of you showing up as yourself. And that's the mistake we make. We get into our heads and we get into this like idea about ourselves. So what do? We immediately go outside of ourselves to find what it looks like to feel powerful. Oh, this guy wrote this book, or this guy says to do this in a seminar. And it's kind of like, it's like forgetting about where your nose is, or, you know, like you're like, and as soon as you go, oh, it's on my face, then I can use my tools and techniques. But most people are looking for a nose. They're looking for something that's already been on them the whole time. And so it's not an either or, like, so what do you do with your tools? It's, your tools are going to work a lot better when you realize that you have the capacity to introduce the tools from another place.
I love that. Yeah, I love the example. I love the visual of the horse and the cart. So it's almost like we're treating the horse, that the horse has to be this beautifully decorated and like perfectly, you know, mane brushed and you know, all this stuff. And then we're like, oh, well, we'll just throw ourselves in the cart back there. And if some part of us is needed later, then we'll grab that. But we got to lead with the decoratedness. And you're saying to flip that and have the horse be you, have the horse be you showing up as you, just authentically and without the mask and dropping all the crap. And then you can pull from whatever tools you want that are back. Don't throw away the tools. You can pull from those as you need to, but realize that it's about who you show up as first.
Exactly. And here's what's nice. Here's what's nice. I still show up with my masks, right? I still show up with low self-esteem. I still show up scared, you know, my hands are sweaty right now. But I just told you what's going on with me in real time, that my hands are sweaty. People love hearing that. So if you have a mask on, great, use it in your conversation. Hey, I just want to let you know the last 30 minutes was a crock of shit because I didn't know what I'm talking about. I was trying to impress you. And that makes them go, wow, that was actually really cool. My wife always says one thing, honey, just be honest with me. Don't tell me you didn't wash the dishes because you're calling my mom or whatever. It's like, just be honest. And it's like, how many times do I have to hear that before I go, oh, there's something to it that actually makes sense? And so again, it goes back to the fact that whatever you have with you is perfect. Your imperfections are what you should start with. If you're asking me how, you're missing the point. The how is where you're at. The how is saying I'm confused. Say, I'm confused right now. And I don't know how to start. I've gotten clients like that. Hey, I'm actually really confused. I don't know how I'm going to start this conversation, but I think that you and I can have a really lasting relationship with coaching, you probably don't know what coaching is. Would you be willing for me to sit and have a conversation and show you what it is? All right, sure. Or, hey, this is really, really weird, but I just saw something you wrote on Facebook and it actually really inspired me. Can I ask you some questions about it? That sounds great. That's a coaching conversation. That's enrolling. There was nothing powerful about it. It's just me asking a sincere question. Now, the problem can be is when we make that into a strategy again.
Another strategy.
Right. So someone right now, if you guys are listening, don't write this down like, oh, so go on Facebook. If it really occurs to you to reach out, then reach out. You don't have to go and do 100 coaching conversations in 2 hours.
Right.
Just reach out when you feel the need to. Now, if you want to build a coaching practice, then it probably makes more sense to reach out some more. Right?
Sure, but like what you're saying, what I think I hear you saying is that, you know, and I see this a lot, is that a lot of coaches want to figure out, how do I reach out to somebody as a coach when the opportunity is just to reach out to them as a human?
Yeah, it's like saying, okay, you and I are sitting here, we're in San Diego, so we're at the beach, someone is drowning and we go, should I tell them I'm a lifeguard or a life coach? Or am I, what do you think I mean, they're like, get me out of the water. So many people stay on land waiting for what they should call themselves and what their true identity should be. People, if they want your help, they don't care if you're called a coach, a janitor, whatever you are. They don't care about your name. They want help, and that's all it is.
You guys hear this? This is what we're talking about when we're saying that, like, it's not a question of worthiness, it's not a question of credibility, it's not a question of who are you to be coaching, because all of that is more mask, and it's more story, and it's more beliefs that don't serve us, and it's more crap that's not actually true. And so what Amir's talking about, at least from what I hear, is just like, you have everything you need inside of you. And I love what you said, you know, as far as like leading with saying like, my palms are sweaty, or I'm really nervous, or whatever. That one of the great things about that is not just that you're being real, but you said this, is that it gives people permission, right? And we talked about this earlier, I think with Jacob, when we were saying that, you know, one of the reasons people will hire a coach, a specific coach, is not because they want to live the life that coach lives, but they want to see the world in the way that coach sees the world.
Yes.
And so by you doing this, you're giving permission for people to see the world through a lens where they say, wow, I can drop the crap. I can literally just be whoever I am.
Yeah.
Thank you for modeling that for me. And that's like, why wouldn't I want more of that in my life?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. And we, again, I did 10 years of, how do I do it? And you and I went to dinner last night, and it never would occur to us to say, how do we order off the menu, right? Or how do I tell the waitress how I order? It doesn't make sense, because we intrinsically know, you just look on the menu and you point and you pick something, right? And the truth of the matter is, if you mess up ordering on the menu, you can order again in a couple hours.
Yeah.
The same thing in a coaching conversation. You may mess up. You may mess up an enrollment.
Yeah.
Good news is you can do it again. So
Conversation's never over.
What's the big deal? Like, what's the big deal? And when you're sitting there going, so what's the right way to sit down? Is it like this or like this? Should I model them? And we learn all this, like, oh, if you match and mirror them, it's like, you know, that matching and mirroring sounds great, but have you seen two women wearing the same outfit at a party? It doesn't work so well, right? The matching and mirroring.
Yeah,
right?
that's horrible, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, with that, that's something that you don't have to worry about, because that's not what's up for grabs when you're a coach.
Yeah.
Is you being better than them. What's up for grabs is that you're going to show up on the equal playing field as them. And the good news is, hopefully the person you're trying to enroll is a human. Because if they are, then you guys are on the right track.
That's true. Yeah, you're coming from the same place. I love that. And you know, I know, and you've probably experienced this too. There's so many coaches that I've talked to and coached where something didn't go well in a conversation, a coaching conversation or an enrollment conversation. And I say, well, what happened? And they tell me, and I said, so what do you want to do about it? Well, like, I don't know, like I want to reach out, but you know, I don't know what to say, because I just felt like I wasn't as powerful in that session as I could have been. And I just feel like there's so much more for us to explore, and I don't know what to say. And I was like, yeah, you do. You just said it. That's yeah. So it's like, it's almost like if we were going to put a practice around it, it'd almost be like, you know, what could you never say because it would be embarrassing? What could you never say because they wouldn't react well to it? What could you never say because you wouldn't look professional? And then go say that.
That's it. The exact thing that they want to tell you, well, why are they telling you?
Yeah.
Go say that, because we think that what we have in real time is not what people are looking for.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, with YouTube and the internet and everything, we're always so fast in the world. And when we're saying slow down, that can sound like a tactic, but the truth is, when two people sit down, it's in our nature to slow down.
Yeah.
When we have, like with our friendship, it's like when we go to dinner, we want to spend 3 hours together because we enjoy it. We don't go, all right, we need to slow down now. Sometimes we do if we're eating too fast.
Right.
But what I'm saying is like all those things, like slowing down, showing up powerful, and being a leader, makes sense if you don't know that you already have it, and if you don't know that being who you are in that moment is giving you all the stuff that you're looking for as a strategy. And a good way to gauge if you're grounded and leveled and in the moment is when you're looking for a strategy. I just spit on you. See, like in real time.
I feel bathed. In
I just got really excited. Yeah. So when
wait, hold on.
Oh.
Curry? Did you have curry for lunch?
I did.
That's weird. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So when you're, what was that? Can we cut this? Is this
No,
live?
this is live.
Oh,
this is totally live. Yeah. Wait, did your Skype freeze?
Yeah.
Oh, guys, his Skype is frozen. Guys, what do we do? Okay, we're back.
Okay. So what I was saying is, if you are in a place in your head that's saying, wow, I got to come up with a strategy, or all right, you're pacing around the room, making sure that you're going to be a powerful leader, that's a good indication that you're probably in your head a little bit. And that's also a good indication to sit down with your prospect and go, hey, can you give me a minute? I'm a little bit in my head. That's okay to do too.
People would never think to do that because they're like, oh, that's going to make me look unprofessional, and there's no.
Right.
But it's like, are they hiring a robot, or are they hiring a coach? Are they hiring a human, or are they hiring some infallible being? And you know what? Maybe it's because traditional consulting, you wouldn't do that, right? If you're hired to come in and solve a specific tactical problem and they want you to know exactly how to fix it, you wouldn't go in and say, I don't know. Maybe that's a good shift for the consulting industry, is to be a little more open and say, I don't know. But for us as coaches, it's the most creative profession in the world. We can go in there and do that because it gives them permission, and it also creates intimacy, right? When we say we know everything, we create distance.
Absolutely.
When we say we don't know, we create intimacy. And so I think you model that really, really well. So one of the questions I have too is about your history and your story in business and other parts of your non-coaching business. So you have a coaching business, but you're also a restaurateur. You're also an entrepreneur, right? And so, an entrepreneur as a coach, but also an entrepreneur as a restaurateur. So I have a couple questions about that. But my first question is, in coaching people and kind of having this thinking or this perspective of kind of unlearning and getting back to who you really are, do you still leverage the power of stories, of things that you've been through in your life to help people to unlearn, or does that create more noise? Like, how does storytelling work in your world as a coach with your style of coaching?
Oh, storytelling is all I actually have. I mean, the truth of the matter is, if you're yourself, what's going to occur to you typically is to share stories of what's in your own experiences. Because if it's about connecting, I mean, it's like friendship. You connect by sharing stories. Oh, last week I just did this. Can you believe what's his name did that? Yeah. So yeah, stories are incredibly powerful. But again, now if you guys are out there writing down, tell more stories, then again, your clients are going to feel it. They're going to see that it's become a strategy. Again, if it occurs to me to tell a story, then I'm going to tell a story. If it occurs to me to sit in silence, then I'm going to do that. If it occurs to me to hug them, or if it occurs to me to say, look, this is not going to be a right fit. This is just, I'm uncomfortable right now. Let's just, whatever it is, and that happened to my mom. She didn't become my client, but
she's so difficult to coach.
She is very difficult.
We worked together for a couple of years, and she paid me $100,000 a year. I never told you about that.
That's amazing.
But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
It's amazing, and I have I can't believe what a shitty son you are. But I get how that works. I'm curious, and I actually want to get back to the restaurateur stuff, but just because of what you just said, I'm just curious. Something that I heard from Michael Neal once, and we actually mentioned in one of the episodes of the Master Circle, I think it's Melissa Ford's coaching demonstration, was that Michael Neal, and you probably heard this, Michael Neal has a 2-step process for coaching. Have you heard this before? It's show up and respond to what shows up.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what you're talking about? Is that your...
But what's another option? That's what's I'm like, that sounds like, of course, show up, but what's another option besides showing up and responding to what shows up? Even if you come up with a mask, you're going to show up, you're going to respond to what shows up, but you're going to show up with a mask. And I'll tell you something, it's from experience, I'm telling you this, not as I'm a coach and whatever. From experience, it's exhausting. Yeah. It is exhausting to show up as this big, powerful coach. It's exhausting. Some people are good at it, and some people have actually, that's how they are. Like, I'm guessing Tone, I know for a fact that Tony Robbins is the same way on stage as he is off.
Okay.
It's not a persona.
Yeah.
Like if you meet him in person, you'll get exhausted. The guy wakes up at like 4 a.m. and he's up till midnight.
Cold showers.
Cold showers. That's
yeah.
what he does. So
Yeah.
even if he never did what he did, that's what he does. So when people watch like Tony Robbins, they go, well, that's what I need to do. No, that's what Tony needs to do, because that's what Tony does.
Yeah.
You need to do what you need to do. And if you are a gamer, or if you're a technical geek, then do that.
Right.
Like that's what you're going to be good at, and show up from that space, and your niche is going to show up. And then you don't even have to look for a niche, because the conversations you have are going to weed themselves out for you. So it's kind of cool. The only thing you really need to do, like Michael Neal said, is show up and see what shows up, and the rest will genuinely take its course. The horse is going to continue to go regardless of where, it's going to go somewhere.
Now, realistically, is that something that can happen instantly, or does that take practice to get to that place?
Well, in my experience, the more I practiced, the harder it became.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a practice thing. And again, it's kind of like, how do I put this? It's not a practice thing. It's kind of like, again, it's like saying, so did you practice listening to music? Or did you practice, like, how are you going to watch Netflix tonight? Like, tell me some of your skill sets to watch Netflix.
You get this question, like, it sounds so simple that it's complex.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. It sounds so simple, but there's going to be a moment that you're going to see it. Until you don't, you're not going to see it. And the way that I've realized by not seeing it is by going, so you're telling me, okay, I get it. So like when you watch TV, you're just supposed to watch it, but what are you doing to watch TV? Right. And it's like, at some point, you're either going to watch it and go, oh crap, that's it? Like, I'm just supposed to watch it? There's no other way to do it? But again, it's an innocent mistake, and I'll tell you why. When we're younger, we're told to pay attention in class. And what do? We do this. As if that is going to make us pay more attention.
Right.
But when we're in our natural state, our ears are designed to hear. Our nose is designed to smell. Our mouth is designed to taste. There's nothing that we need to do in order to do that. And it's the same in coaching. We are designed to be humans. That's good news.
Yeah.
Because if you are designed to be a human, you can show up and do humanness.
Yeah.
Right? And again, there's going to be a moment, and I know there's a lot of people out there probably going, yeah, but it can't be that easy. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And there's, for those, if you want an exercise, coach, think back at the times you had the most fun. Think back at the times you were deeply connected with, or your partner or your family. Think back at the times where you just listened to a song and it just struck you from a different place, and see how much of you was in the room. And you'll notice there's probably going to be a lot more of you in the room than wasn't.
So my question is, and I'm wondering, like, and again, I don't want to try to make this a practice, because it's an unpractice, if anything. But I just wonder, like, as you're saying this, and as I'm thinking about the times when I've been able to do this the most, not try and just kind of be, is that it's when I'm creating more space in my life, like in general. So would you say that helped people to just have more space to be able to kind of unlearn this? Like, can this happen in chaos, or do you need to create space in order to really get into this place?
So the question, the way that I heard it, it was interesting, because you said unpracticed, as if that's a thing to do.
Right.
So that is the first thing that I've realized, and that's not unusual. A lot of people say, so now I know I don't need to practice, but now how do I unpractice?
Now I need to label something else.
So now it's you were back in square one.
Yeah.
It's like saying, okay, so you told me not to think about it, so how do I not think about it?
Yeah.
Well, you have to think about it to not think about it.
Right.
Again, it's going to be one of those, and that's what I'm saying. My coaching is not prescriptive, it's descriptive. I'm giving you an idea of how I see the world, in hopes that I can point you to the direction and go, oh, that's what happened. I'll give you an example with one of my coaching clients. It was one of my first real clients I had. He's a doctor. He came to my house to talk about relationships, right? So that's what I thought we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, at the time I was into, again, hypnosis, NLP, and all that stuff. He came to me and he looked me straight in the eye and he said, Amir, I'm going to kill myself. I'm about to kill myself in about a week. And he had kids and a wife and all that. At that moment, I went, there was a small part of me that said, what strategy can I do to get him? Then something bigger said, you better not use a strategy, because that's not for strategies. That's someone just reaching out to you from a different place. So we ended up having a conversation, and I was not a coach. I was not anything. I was just, man, this guy just said something super like vulnerable for him. So I showed up from that same space. We ended up having a conversation, and he's doing incredibly better. And one of the things he said, I don't know why I said this, but I said, if I told you to jump off a bridge, what would you do? And he goes, well, I probably wouldn't listen to you. I said, well, why do you think your voice in your head is more important than my voice? And we explored that. That was kind of a cool thing. Now, that was not something that I could have in a million years think, like, that's the strategy I'm going to use. I'm going to use the, why would you use my voice? I just didn't know. And what's cool about showing up as you, your insights show up. You have it's like a GPS versus a map. Like a GPS will always give you real-time information. And like I took a wrong turn here to get here. I'm sure everyone did.
Yeah.
But the GPS, it'll fix itself, and it'll recalibrate to get you where you need to go.
It's created for that.
That's what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
And when we show up and get rid of all the masks, even if we have masks and we see it, it will recalibrate. We may show up with a mask, but there's going to be a voice that says, hey, drop it. You can be like, oh, okay, cool.
And it's okay, right? Like, you don't have to beat yourself up if you show up with a mask. It's not wrong. It's just what's happening.
Any more than you should beat yourself for taking the wrong turn.
Right.
It's just, we take wrong turns, and good news is we're going to recalibrate. We're going to take wrong turns with enrolling, with our coaching conversations, with our fees, with anything that you can possibly think. We're going to mess up. The good news is, great, we can start over again the very next minute, the very next day, and it will recalibrate. And so again, it's not a prescription, it's a description of that's just really how it works. And it took me, again, for those that are like wondering, oh, how do you do it? It took me 10 years to figure this out. Right. And that's just because
they're way smarter than you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm a thinker, and I'm thinking. I always wanted to fix it and figure it out. This is not a figuring out situation. This is simply
I'm wondering, is this like if somebody is really interested in this and says, okay, I'm kind of getting it, I get the idea, but I need more. I hate to say I need more information, but is this book something that's kind of more descriptive about what you're talking about?
My book, Do Nothing to Get Everything, is when I wrote that is when I actually was in a space where I was like, this is easy, this is crazy. You can actually do something from a different place and actually have it work. This is crazy. And again, it's so funny, in the dating world, it's the same thing. What do they always teach? Be yourself, show up and be funny, whatever. Right. And then you can see the ones that go out into the dating world and they're trying to be funny, and they're trying to be witty, or they're trying to be classy. And the ones that you know in high school, the ones that you're like, why is that idiot getting girls or whatever? And you're going, because he's just a doof, but he's showing up as himself, and it's working.
Yeah.
And so I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm not the best coach in the room. I am just me, and that seems to be really enough. Really enough to get clients.
That permission part just keeps coming back. You being you gives people permission to be themselves. And who doesn't want to just be more themselves in the world? Who doesn't want to drop the mask in their daily lives and just be okay with who they are? And that be enough.
Yeah.
And be enough.
Yeah, and again, am I a 5-figure coach, 6-figure, 7-figure? I'm a my-figure coach.
Right.
It's whatever fee feels right, that's the money I charge. If I need to, last time I paid for my wedding. That's how I did it. So I got enough clients, but I have another business, so I don't need clients.
Yeah.
So, and what's interesting is nobody needs clients. And I think that's why it's been so much easier for me, is because I saw this as an exploration. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to try to get clients from a place of fun and being myself. I didn't need to be anyone else.
Right.
And
this is not a mind trick like, oh, I don't need clients. I can pretend I don't need clients. I'll show up and pretend I don't need clients. You really mean you realize that you don't need clients.
No, that was just it. And it just happened to be that was, looking back, a big catalyst for why I probably got a lot of clients.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, so something else I really love about your story, and so for those of you who don't know, Amir also has a chain of restaurants here in the San Diego area, 4 restaurants, Surf Brothers Teriyaki, which is really, really, really good. And the sauce, just stay away from the sauce packet box. But anyways, you'll have to go to find out what that means. But it's interesting. So the reason that's really interesting for us to talk about, I think, is that there are a lot of people that are in day jobs, right? And so that's not the exact same situation you're in, but there are people who are in day jobs and they're also working on being a coach. And they think that these two things are completely siloed, compartmentalized worlds, right? I'm in my 8-to-5 job and then I'm a coach. And these things never, ever shall meet. And then there was something you posted on, I think it was on Facebook, like a year and a half ago, or it was a while ago, but it's always stuck with me and I've just always loved it. And you posted on Facebook, and I'm sure I didn't feel this way because I knew you, but I'm sure a lot of people got pissed, is you said, how I got 30 clients in 1 month. And I guarantee you there are people reading, oh, screw this guy. I don't give a what tactic is he going to tell me about
It was
doing?
actually clients in one day.
Oh, one day? Oh, sorry. Yeah, 30 clients in one day.
30 clients in one day.
So I'd love for you to tell me and to tell the audience here what I think is such a powerful lesson, which completely flies in the face of a lot of traditional things about coaching, and kind of tell us that story and how that played out in your life.
So when I got into this coaching world, I got into competition with everyone else on Facebook and all the other coaches that are doing amazing. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to be a 8 figure. If that person's doing 7, I'm going to do 8. And so I got into this big idea that I need to be a big bad coach. And so I spent my days going and getting clients. And one day I woke up and realized I have 30 employees that I can impact, that is going to have a direct relation to my business, my finances, the way that I'm going to connect with my employees. But I was so busy looking for clients, this idea of clients, like clients are out here. They can't be the people right next to you. Clients are outside of my 9-to-5 job. It's the ones that aren't connected to this. And again, I misunderstood that when you connect and coach people, things will change. So I one day went to my restaurant. You were actually one of the people that came to one of my manager meetings, and he actually spoke. We had a couple coaches come in. He was incredible. But I turned around and realized I have 30 employees that I can inspire, have them take action, have them have a happy family life, have them see things they've never were able to see. And interestingly enough, their world has changed, and it's changed my world. What that has to do for people that have 9-to-5 jobs, why are you waiting to get out of that job to coach? Why are you waiting? The person in the next cubicle, you can talk to them about something. The boss that is sitting there frustrated, you can say, hey, I have an idea for you. It's the exact same thing. It's just, if you're a new coach, if you have a job and you're a new coach, you have people right in front of you. Like, what are you waiting for? Right. Yeah. And we have this idea that we need to quit our corporate job and go. Well, I hate to break it to you, but coaching is a job. You're going to have to go wake up, make calls, put on schedules, try to get people to enroll. It's going to be a job. So if it's already a job, then utilize the job you're already in. What's your rush? What's your rush to go from one job to another one? Right. So
yeah, because for some reason you're like not a real coach if you're not doing it full time only. Right. And there's so many opportunities, and your story inspired me to share that with a lot of coaches I've worked with who are in 9-to-5 jobs and say, where are there people all around you that you can just make a difference? You can make an impact. Amir is not telling you, oh, all the people that are in the cubicles, go pitch them and try to propose and make them your clients. I mean, they could become clients, it's fine. Sure. But the thing is to find that there are opportunities for you to make an impact everywhere. And when you're making an impact in your normal 9-to-5 job, or when you go to the grocery store, or when you're in the mall, when you're making a difference doing that, you are primed to make a difference everywhere. And that really impacts your coaching business, because if you're being this way, if you're showing up in service to people at your 9-to-5 job, you don't turn that off when you go out into the world.
That's exactly it. That's when we get suckered into this idea of like, and again, that's innocent because we think that a coach looks a certain way. That's the whole dynamic of this conversation. Right. But if you are okay to be a human at work instead of an employee that needs to get out, then there's a lot of opportunities there, right? Tons. I mean, the clients that I get, they work at jobs. Yeah. They have 9-to-5 jobs, and they're utilizing me. Yeah. So imagine someone from their company having these skill sets. Of course they would love to use that. Yeah. It wouldn't make sense. And so, but we get this idea that, no, we have to wait, and they're not going to think I have the credentials if I just come in and have a talk. But again, I don't like calling myself a coach. As soon as I hear that, I'm like, oh, now I got to come up with this idea in a box about what coaching is. I genuinely, and that's what I love about Steve Chandler, he says as soon as someone says, what do you do? He turns around and goes back to their world, because you're not going to be able to help them unless you know what's going on in their world. So the same thing applies if you're working at a job. Go out and find out what's going on in people's world. You'll be surprised what you'll find out. Yeah. And from there, you don't have to go, oh, by the way, after my 9-to-5 job, I do coaching. Would you like a coaching conversation? You go, wow, that really inspired me. That scares me, the idea that you do this. I want to hear more about it. That's it. Yeah. And then you're now on to a enrollment conversation. Yeah. And then I don't say, would you like an enrollment conversation? Or this is going to be very powerful if we sit down and talk. I say, wow, that was a really awesome conversation. I'd like to hear more. Can we sit down and talk about this some more? I've never had anyone go, you want to hear more about my life?
Yeah.
You know, like that sounds crazy. People love talking about themselves, about what's going on in the world.
They love to be listened to.
Yeah, they love to be listened to. So just like you've been doing with me, you love listening.
Well,
to
I
me.
love it. Yeah, it's good. Well, I can listen to you all day. And so basically, you're saying like you don't have to be Clark Kent and then be Superman. You can just be Superman all day.
Beautiful. That's it.
You don't have to wear a mask. Wear a mask, right? It goes back to the mask. You don't have to wear the mask.
Totally. You don't have to go inside a phone booth and get out and be someone else.
Exactly.
You're already whether he's wearing a suit or not, he still has all that capacity.
Yeah.
And the kryptonite is our own thinking, trying to think it's otherwise. I mean, that's a beautiful analogy.
Wow, that's all. I'm so glad I thought of that. So this has been great. So so one of the books here, Do Nothing to Get Everything. You've written, is it 4 books total or 3?
5.
Oh, 5. Jeez, I'm sorry.
5 books.
And are you working on is the 6th one you're working on now, or is the 5th one you're working on?
It's the 6th book. I'm kind of iffy about it. So it depends on I don't know what round.
I have the advanced copy.
You haven't read it.
I have to read it. Yeah, I haven't read it because.
So if he says it's a go.
Then it's a go. Yeah. The other book, though, this is one of my favorite books in general. I don't know if we can get a kind of shot of this. It's white, so it's a little harder to get on there. But it's called Lessons from My Coach, and it's a fantastic book, especially if you read The Prosperous Coach, which most people here have probably read The Prosperous Coach. This is a great follow-up book. One of the things I love in this book, the thing I always go back to, or here's the cover here, Lessons from My Coach, is it the first chapter on insights? Is the very first chapter on insights?
Yeah, first chapter's on insights.
I'm not going to even give it away, but it is, as a coach, you must read the first chapter of this book and understand what Amir says about insights. It's beautiful, and I'm not going to give it away. So great stuff there. Amir, how can people learn more about you and follow your work and get in touch with you?
You can visit me at amirkarkouti.com.
Okay.
Which
we got it up on the screen. Yep. And we'll add it into the YouTube as well, so that they have amirkarkouti.com.
Amirkarkouti.com. Email me. We can get on have a conversation. Send me something that you got out of this. It'd be awesome. I'd love to hear about you guys. And this was awesome. Has it already been an hour?
It's been close. So what I want to do now, if you're okay with this, is can we take some questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right, cool. Oh, we got Surf Brothers Teriyaki up on the screen.
Look at
is
this.
that you?
That's how you show up.
That is a powerful coach right there.
This is hula this sucker. That's how we do it.
I cannot believe you guys pulled that up, and I love you so much.
Thank you.
That is fantastic. Okay, cool. Oh, okay, hold on. So we're gonna play a clip real quick.
So for
you want to set up the clip, Amir?
Yeah. So for some of the people that just showed up late, Jason and we do coaching, and we've been wanting to do some coaching together. So this is a 5-minute clip for people that missed this webinar. Basically, a summary of what we just talked about.
It's a summary of everything. It's how to be a powerful coach.
Perfect.
So let's run the clip.
And right now is one of my favorite parts of the seminar. I'm going to teach you my way that I've created, one of the best ways to get coaching clients with my 5-part system. Are you guys ready? The first thing is to be playful. Very, very important. We'll continue about why that's important. Second thing is you need to engage with your clients. And you have to make it what? You have to make it look natural. You know, some of us have this problem of looking natural. And just as important as being natural is being interesting. Okay, being interesting. And last but not least, why are we doing all this for anyway? That's right. We're doing it to serve. Now, we're going to continue to talk about this for the rest of the seminar, but in the meantime, just play with this for a little bit.
Yeah, there's just so much going on right now, and I don't know. I just need some clarity, some direction. Oh, actually, yeah, that's good. I see where you're going with that. Yeah, I never even thought about it that way before. Wow, what a powerful insight. Thank you so much. Need some support with that?
Do you need support with that? Oh.
Hey man, you want some support with that?
Oh, yeah. Now, I'm not sure if you know a guy named Osho, but he personally sent me a book right to my doorstep. Well, I actually went on my Amazon Prime and I had 2 days shipping, and Osho's book came to my doorstep. It was a really good book, and it was free shipping.
Last week I posted something online and Tony Robbins liked it.
Last week I posted something online. I think it was actually Tony Roberts that liked it.
I've actually worked personally with Deepak Chopra. I actually took his pre-recorded webinar that was free online. Just been working on my relationships. It's been really, really...
Relationships. Yeah, relationships are tough. You know, I got this buddy named Tony.
I have one of my very close friends of mine and mentor.
I know it's coming. Sorry.
Tupac Oprah.
Tupac Oprah. That's the fucking winner.
That's the one.
That's
Tupac
the winner.
Oprah. Well, I can support you with that. I have a very close friend and mentor, Tupac Oprah. Bro, it's like squeezing out a fart. This motherfucker right here.
Bubs, you are such a geek.
Okay, just stop it.
The credits are hilarious. It's okay. All right, fine.
right.
So that was How to Be a Powerful Coach
Yep.
with Amir Karkouti and Jason Goldberg. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. It's available on YouTube. Maybe we'll share that link or something. So cool. So are you down to stay and answer a couple questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Absolutely.
So let's look at the questions we have here. Hold on. Okay, we're scrolling. These are from.
Let me give a shout out to
go
one of my
We're doing shout outs
colleagues
now
and
because-
clients, Luke Brady. He's been actually on this webinar since morning.
Are you serious?
He's been watching this whole thing and he's been texting me saying they're awesome.
Dude.
He actually used to work for a big news organization. He was the producer, editor, and all that. He said this is probably one of the most top-notch produced things he's seen.
Wow.
For this kind of event. So I
Way
just
to go,
wanted to-
Deb!
Yeah,
Woo!
you guys, honestly,
Deb Cole.
he was really, really impressed.
Deb Cole, RPM. For all your
That's
production
it
needs.
right there.
It'll cost you a lot. If you're gonna hire Deb, get a good surgeon first because you'll need to take your kidney and your lung
Yeah.
out. So no, but arm and a leg. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So here are some questions. Are these good? Do you want us to look at these? The one highlight. Okay. So this is from Emmanuel Norbert Tulbure. I'm not sure. It's a beautiful name. I'm just horribly saying it wrong, I'm sure. Okay. It says, as you are a guru in business, this must have been for Ajit, but we'll take it. Do you think consistency is the key to reach US and Canada-based audience from Romania, an ex-communist country, or are there better strategies? So do you think consistency is a key? Hold on, can you scroll back down to it so we can see it again? So do you think consistency is key to reach US and Canada-based audience from Romania, an ex-communist country? I don't know. I have no idea. Do you have any thoughts on it? I mean, I'm sure I can think of something.
I don't know the question. I don't understand the question.
Dude, go back to the question. This is a very deep question. Hold on, but let us see this one. Okay, so do I think consistency is the key to reach US? So I don't know why being in Romania I don't know if being an ex-communist country means there's no access to like US and Canada markets. I don't know. So if there's something that's in place there, I would say you need to hack the planet. And you need to find a proxy server that allows you to channel into the US and Canada from Romania. But assuming there's no blocks in place on the internet, I think that they're actually, and I'm being in all seriousness, you know, one of the things we didn't get to talk about with you was your background of going into like huge debt, right? $1.8 million debt with your business and coming out of that, right? Getting back to where you are now. And so I could only imagine the power of the stories of being in an ex-communist country that could be used to connect with people. Where do you feel like you have a regime on top of you? Where do you feel like your life is being pushed down? Like there's so many stories that you could probably share that would help you to connect with other audiences.
Yeah, I mean to go with that as well. Consistency in what aspect? As far as enrollment conversations, absolutely. Coaching, you have to be consistent in coaching to get better. But as far as where you're at and where you're located, look, if you're in Romania, there's people in Romania that need coaching. So you're only the farthest you are is the next person to reach out to. So it doesn't really matter, and that's how it is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's just like the thing about, you know, looking outside of the job that you're in for people to coach. You're in a country with a lot of people, and I'm guessing they're humans, and I'm guessing they have issues or challenges or opportunities. So great, start there. So I think that's awesome. Okay, cool. So question from Manon Paquette. Do you think that we can be a powerful coach rapidly? I'm going to let you take this one, Amir, because I feel like you'll have a good answer for this. It may not be the answer they want, but I feel like you'll have
Do you think we can be a powerful coach rapidly? any faster than realizing that you have a nose on your face. I mean, it's not, when we say how to be a powerful, it looks like being is like somewhere else outside of us. It's like there's nothing you have to be for your body to digest food. It's like saying, is there a better way to blink your eyes more powerfully? It's like, no, your eyes are going to blink because that's what eyes do. And so it's not a matter of how to be there rapidly. Those are concepts. That's the thing that we have to look at. The idea of being powerfully rapidly, or it's slow or whatever, it's the definition of powerful is like, the definition of love. It's like, how can I love my wife more? I have no idea. I just show up and I love her. I don't have a way of loving her more. And if I tried loving her more, she'd probably get a restraining order. Yeah. So because it becomes an act, right? It becomes a thing to do. Yeah. And so I can't be a powerful coach any rapidly than I can love my mom any faster. Yeah. It just is what is available for you when you get out of your way. Yeah. Your own way.
I love that. And I think, one of the things I would say is I would define what powerful coach even means to you. Like, I don't know, like powerful coach is different for everybody. Does a powerful coach mean you feel like you listen really intently? Does it mean that you ask really powerful questions? Does it mean that people get results? Does it mean that they cry? Does it mean that they laugh? Like, I would look at what you think powerful coach is, and then, then just allow yourself to be in that and be okay with that and experiment and test and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some coaches that thrive off their clients crying, or thrive off them like beating up a pillow. That's cool if that's the kind of gig you want to do. Yeah. But you're not going to go outside of yourself to find powerful. It does not exist out there. Right. And we spend so much of our time. And it's I hate to say this, but that's a great business model for people to sell books and seminars, because come to my thing and I'll show you how to be powerful. Right. And I mean, there's places like EverCoach that have people like us that say, hey, look, you already have everything. But then the good news is, what's nice about things like EverCoach is then now you can choose to watch it from a different place. You can learn from, not because you're lacking it, but because it's something to explore. It's something to see from a different light, right? It's like once you know that the actors on TV aren't really dying, you can actually see it from a different place. You can go, oh, that's cool. This is really cool. And you can cry, you can get scared, but you know that it's not really actually happening, right? Once you know that. So if you're asking the question, it's kind of like saying, okay, I get it. If I watch a movie, I should just relax. But what if Brad Pitt dies in the movie? It's like you kind of didn't understand the answer then.
Right. No, I love that. And I think that you may be seeing now, and this wasn't planned, but I feel like it's a thread that I didn't know what any of the coaches that we brought on were going to say, but now it's just so beautiful to see this all coming together, is that it really is, and I mentioned this in the very first segment I did, the very first thing on self-leadership and being a leader versus being a protector is that it is a place to come from, not a place to get to. And all the things that we've been talking about all day is as practical or as much advice or as much whatever as we've gotten from all the coaches, the one thing that is clear across the board, the trend that goes across everything, is that it's about who you're being. It's about a place to come from. It's not about a place to get to. So I feel like even what we're talking about now, which maybe seems a little more ethereal or esoteric to certain people, it's still about your approach. It's about where you're coming from. Sure. It's about getting back to your natural innate state, which I think is great. Awesome. Okay. What are some of your most powerful questions and insights that help your clients move forward?
The most powerful question that I will tell you right now is the one that shows up in the moment. Honestly, there's nothing. I mean, my last client had a huge shift because I said, are you fucking kidding me? That was my question, because I couldn't believe that's what he was.
What book was that in? Didn't that come from a book somewhere?
Yeah. And that was it. And he looked at me, busted up, and said, "Wow, that was," and he went on to say it. But the best, think about what insight the term is. It's seeing from within. So if I tell you something from what I should do, or what I can give you 30 coaching questions. Well, that's coming from outside of you. The most insightful are the ones that are in the moment. That's the only way that you can have insight, is by the moment. Yeah. Right? And so, but you can read and get insights, but insight's happening in that moment as you're reading it. Right. So, but once you show up with your client, it's go time from this position. You have to, I don't know if it's from experience or just something just changed in me. I realized one day that I really have everything I need to have a powerful conversation, or instead of powerful, a real conversation, because that's what people are looking for, is a real conversation.
And that's powerful.
Yeah, exactly. The side effect of a real conversation is it's powerful, emotional, or whatever you're looking for. Right. It will mold like a piece of clay.
Yeah.
It will mold in real time for you. And when you look back, it's going to look like, wow, that was powerful.
Yeah.
But you can't mold it before your conversation. It's molding as you get there. And at the end of the conversation, you guys can both look and go, wow, that was powerful,
Look what we
vulnerable.
constructed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can reconstruct it.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, that's just the way it is. And it's
Yeah.
funny because Tony Robbins, they have this, who's that woman that's there's
Medeiros.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this like video of them where Tony Robbins like stops and then Madonna's goes, as you see, Tony Robbins blinked his eyes, which let the audience members know that he is, and you're like,
It's a great
no.
voice too.
Yeah, and you're like, no, he's not. He had something in his eye.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. But the truth is, Tony, he knows a lot of tools, but when he gets on stage, he's just being Tony. And there was so many years I tried to be Tony, Rich Litvin, Steve Chandler. And I realized one day, they're not trying to be Rich Litvin. Rich Litvin is just being Rich Litvin.
Yeah.
And so is Steve Chandler, and so is Tony Robbins. And I said, why am I love them all dearly, but why am I giving them so much credit when I have what I have to give out in the world?
Because really, they're giving you permission to just be Amir.
Every single
By
time,
being
yeah. I mean,
themselves.
yeah, exactly.
I love that. Okay, Amir, so happy to have you here, bro. Thank you so much for this. Thanks for watching, guys. We're going to do a quick video, and then we're going to be right back with our final guest of the day, Rob Scott, an amazing guest. And if you enjoyed the boot camp today, which I know I've enjoyed being on this side of the camera, I hope you've enjoyed being on the other side of the screen. We'd love to hear from you and just share your comments and your takeaways and your insights and what you loved about it. You can send us a review or a comment or anything that you want to send us to support@evercoach.com. That's support@evercoach.com, and we would love to hear from you. So we're going to take a short break, quick video, come back with Rob Scott. Love you guys. See you in a minute.